First of all, thank you for inviting me for this insightful webinar. We have learned a lot from many teachers from Sundhusit University, and from I expected I would be the last one who give a talk today, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we can rearrange some sequences because test taking strategies that I'm going to show you is partly from the theory and partly from my own interviews with my friends who were tutors online at this moment. Okay, you know that when COVID-19 pandemic occurred, everything seemed to move online, and of course, some teachers and some tutors, they are very used to online teaching, but not me. I have to admit that online teaching is not my thing, but then try to learn from them and try to learn from the tutors, my friend, who share some kind of knowledge. Okay, but firstly, let me share the screen. Okay. Right now, I think you can see my screen right now. Okay, it's a test taking strategies from some. I can say some because there are two online tutors that I interviewed them. Okay, and I think that will be more insight from other tutors. But to start with, two of them gave me informative knowledge about the online tutoring. But first, let me talk about the outline for talking today is I'm talking about the classification of test taking strategies. Okay, what are they? What are those strategies? And the second point is that my own implication for test taking strategies, how to teach students to taking tests. Okay. And number three is about the voices from two online tutors for maybe the IELTS, they teach TOEIC 2 online, things like that. Okay, that will be the last one, the last point. Okay. Let's start with the classification of test-taking strategies. I take it from Andrew Cohen. Okay, he classified the test-taking strategies into three parts. Number one is the language learner strategies, test management strategies, and test wiseness strategies. These category are collected from 25 years by interviewing students and get students to take a test or do a reflective journals, things like that. And he concluded that there are three strategies that learners use to tackle with the test. Okay, let's start with the language learner strategies. Learner language strategies means the thoughts, actions consciously chosen and operationalized by language learners to assist them in carrying out multiplicity of tasks from the very onset of learning to the most advanced level of target language performance. Okay, what does this mean? It means it combines all the things that they have learned in the class. Okay, they called upon their four skills. Okay, listening, reading, speaking, and writing in combination with vocabulary, grammar, and translation in terms of EFL learners. Okay, for example, when they do the reading comprehension test, they will draw upon skimming, scanning, referencing, making inference, and everything that they have learned in the class. This is some kind of the knowledge that they seem to acquire in the class or learn, at least learn from the class. Okay, and you can imagine how much work they have to do for the listening test, writing test, and grammatical tests. Okay, this is the first strategy that learners use. And the second one is that the test management strategies. This is, they have to know about the test. If there is multiple choice with the reading passage, they have to go back and forth and deal with multiple choices, cut or eliminate the ones that seem to be wrong for them, and keep the one that they feel like, oh, it's the correct answer. Okay, this includes the time management. If students have this kind of strategies, they will do the test within the time limit. Okay. And the last strategies is about the test wiseness strategies. This word, I think is clever to use this wiseness. It's the test by test strategies. And of course, they will use the knowledge of testing format or other peripheral or other their experience of guessing. I can say this is the guessing game for students. And most students who are not competent enough, they will use these strategies. For example, for multiple choice items, they use A for 5 items, B for 5 items, C for 10, and D for 5 items. And at the end, maybe it depends on their luck, which I don't really know how lucky they are in the end. Okay, these are all the strategies from 25 years. And I feel like, well, do we have to teach all of them strategies? No. Strategies is for their own idea. But all I can do is trying to teach them how to make their own test in order to take the test from somebody else. Okay, right? This is working with my, I approach this by language learner strategies, try to provide knowledge to them, try to teach how to make a test for them to take a test later. Okay, it works with the vocabulary test making because they will know how to contextualize the word. They will make the test on their own with the A, B, C, D. Okay, they will learn to read and write the sentence. Okay, or even just copy from the internet and paste, which I will call they try to recontextualize the vocabulary they learn in the class. Okay, but the challenges in teaching this part is the students copied and paste text from the online English dictionary, and some students attempted to compose sentence on their own. But anyway, they will get profits, the benefits, sorry, not the benefits from this anyway. At least they see more vocabulary in context rather than seeing it in the textbook and just that. Okay. This is maybe useful, maybe helpful to your class, but for my class, I use it a lot whenever it comes to vocab test. Okay. The last point, let's explore the voices from 2 online tutors. Okay, I think I've got 2 or 3 minutes left. Okay, the voices from 2 tutors, I interviewed them and I found that they teach students all 3 test taking strategies. Or I can't say that teach, they guide them to know the 3 test taking strategies. Okay, they are tutors for proficiency tests, for example, IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, something like that, with more than 2-year experience, and I count 2-year experience online. Okay, now what they told me was quite a surprise because they don't talk about the strategies directly. They told me, first, if you want to be a good tutor, you need to control your voice quality. Okay, your voice quality must be good enough, clear pronunciation, and you can listen to the tutor hours and hours without boring or without irritating you. Yes, something like that, even with the camera off. Okay. And you have to vary the learning activities. For example, you have to use games, competitions, like Ajahn, many Ajahn said, Ajahn Sawatan and Ajahn Ratana said that they vary that activities, even though the learners are adults. Okay, they still want to have fun with the lesson. Okay, you need to provide relaxing ambience to learners online, and the good tutors must not use technical terms at all. For example, you shouldn't use present perfect continuous tense. No. Is there any? Okay, future perfect continuous and something like that. Okay, right. So these are the voices from the online tutors. And that leads me to the end of the presentation about reflecting on my own practice. This is my views on the duties of the teacher and tutor, that for the teacher side, we focus maybe too much on learning strategies, and sometimes we forget the other 2 points. Okay, and we exercise power over students through tests and assessments. On the other hand, students need something else to be fully engaged in the class. And of course, I quote from Svalberg's language awareness engagement, that we care about cognitive and social engagement, and we forgot that student needs emotional engagement as well. I mean, I myself, when I went online, I don't seem to care much about emotional. Okay, right. Now, for the tutor, they focus on test-taking strategies based on their successful experience, the kind of shared experience. And they, at the same time, they build up relationships and maintain rapport with learners all the time. Okay, that's why I think this, I may adapt some characteristics of the good tutor to my professional development for my own sake. Okay, I think this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.